Self-sabotage can rob you of your manifestation. Hey, my name is Hezekiah and I run a community called Inspire at Random, and the link to my community can be found in the video description. So it's on the school platform. It's currently free to join. I plan to charge in the future. So if you are interested into manifestation, do click on the link and join now when it's still free, because you do get to get grandfathered in to the future. You get grandfathered in even when I begin charging. So if you're interested in manifestation, click the link in the description. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the self-sabotage and how self-sabotage can rob you of your manifestation success. And I'm going to be giving you some examples in the past from mine. Once upon a time, I've ever had give myself conditions to basically, for example, if I were to get this goal, all right, what am I going to do next? Like when people pray, right? They'll say that, oh, dear Lord, if you grant me this this vision of mine, and if you help me make this happen, I promise I'm going to visit church every day. Or, I promise I'm going to donate this, and this to, the charity. I promise I'm going to do this, and this. And there in that very moment, right, when you suddenly realize that you are making these promises too easily, and you don't actually feel for these promises, or perhaps like there's a disconnect, like you are committing to God that you do certain things, and you think about it, all these things that I'm promising right now is gonna cost me more than this task. I mean, the more than the upside of this current task. And when you think about it, it just doesn't make sense. And when that's the case, you think that, oh, I'd rather not this happen because I've now committed myself to this, and this if it works out. So I'm putting myself into a shithole, right? So I want to give you like another more valid example, and I'm going to give you yesterday's example, my personal example. Yesterday, and by the way, this also the reason why I haven't been uploading long form videos on my channel so often, and I thought that, okay, in the meantime, I'm gonna be doing these lives instead, because these lives are like, hey there, thanks for tuning in. And where are you watching this video from? So by the way, if you're tuning in to this live, just drop a message below and let me know where are you watching this video from. Nice to hear from you. So I can't read your name over here. The first one, strawberry shortcake. The second one, I can't exactly make out what is your name. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Bikori. Okay, where are you watching this from? I would love to know, because I love to know where my subscribers are from. I was just going to get into this story, but by the way, for those of you who just tuned in, I run a community called Inspire at Random. It is a community about manifestation, because I would like to help people to manifest your best dreams into a reality. And today's topic, in fact, is something that it was for me one of the obstacles in manifestation, and that's self-sabotage. So I want to relate with you some examples on how to get yourself out of self-sabotage, and I want to give you some examples of what self-sabotage can look like. So I want to give you, I already mentioned earlier on before some of you came on, some examples. So when you watch the replay of this video, you can visit that. But I was just going to go into yesterday's, nice to meet you, Bikori. Yesterday's example, the reason why I haven't been uploading long form videos on my channel so often was because I had a lot of work at the year end, and also because I forgot my camera in Singapore, so my relatives are bringing it back. And thirdly, I was also preparing for yesterday. Yesterday, I was at the juvenile court. I was in a appeal for my child's custody. I have 3 children, and my youngest one is actually in my ex-wife's custody. And I was actually appealing, for a change of the custody terms, because I felt that my youngest daughter wasn't getting the best care. So yesterday, as I was leading up to this juvenile court hearing yesterday, I also had a lot of things on my mind plus work. And let's talk about how self-sabotage could have actually swung the outcome of yesterday. Okay, and I'm also going to be talking about the importance of affirmations and how affirmations, and when you practice affirmations, can be. Hey there, Layla Vaughn. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, it was a really it was a stressful day, but it turned out well. Okay, also due to affirmations as well. So I'm going to be telling you how all these things were able to work things out in my favor and how I was able to avoid self-sabotage yesterday. I'm also going to be giving you guys an exercise that you can use to avoid self-sabotage in some of the cases that life is going to throw at you. So, sorry. Um, Yesterday, what happened was that, like, before I went in for the court session, right? I was, my mind was giving me certain ideas, like in Japan, all right. In Japan, whenever people start a new venture, they often like to have a celebratory dinner. And in Japan, in Japanese, the word for it is like omedetou, congratulations, right? Yeah, there's a reason why I'm gonna get to. There's a reason why I'm gonna get to that. Why am I saying this shit? So the Japanese believe in celebrating before the actual event, and because when you celebrate the success of a project, you will get you will get into the feeling of abundance of how you would feel it is to succeed. Omedetou, congratulations. So we celebrate before we start, because when we finish, we will celebrate again. And yesterday, what happened in my case, right, was that in my mind, there were a few ideas. Like, for example, after a successful outcome of I was at juvenile court regarding the custody of my youngest daughter. And, like, I was telling myself, if the outcome is good, a voice in my head said, let's go be baller at the club, all right. And another voice in my head said, there might be work, and I don't. Another voice said, let's just go to the regular chill out bar, right? Just to chill out, like with a shisha and stuff. And the eventual outcome was that I didn't go for either one. I just slept. I slept through till morning, and I had a really really good sleep. So, but let's analyze that. All right. Like the first hint in my mind said, let's go be baller at a club to celebrate this win, because like my youngest daughter has been like malnutrition and not properly taken care of for the amount of time that she's been in my ex-wife's custody, which wasn't even my ex-wife's custody. She put like our youngest daughter with her parents, who didn't really have time for her as well. So that was really disappointing. So like I wanted to have my youngest daughter back because our home is way nearer to school, and my elder daughter is here as well, and we can provide a nice warm family environment for my youngest daughter. So naturally, I want it's better that I have custody as opposed to my ex-wife. So the whole situation turned out quite well in favor. I wasn't awarded full custody, but then again, it was not like she has custody only. It was like our daughter would get to choose. So the next step in the chain is that we're gonna create some protocols, which is actually a very good development. So I could have sabotaged the outcome of this, right? That was the outcome, but I could have sabotaged the outcome, and here's why. Because in my mind, one of the voices was saying, "Let's go be baller at a club," because so happened like one of the bands that I used to enjoy, like let's say from 10, 15 years ago, was going to be playing at a club that's not too far from my home. And I was thinking, when I saw the poster, I was like, wow, these people, they look like they've put on a lot of weight. They don't look like they've been living a good lifestyle. They look like they are somewhat degenerate compared to their heyday. When I look at the event post, when I look at their recent greeting to fans leading up to the event, to publicize the event, when they were doing a video greeting, I was like, I just don't like the energy in that video. And I just don't feel so keen to go anymore. Although I was looking forward to it, But I thought, I don't look so keen because it is I getting this bad vibe, right? And on the other hand, I was like, let's go to my other part of my mind. I was like, oh, let's go to my favorite shisha bar, just chill out, and just unwind and read books for, and then just chill. And that's what I usually do. I go to a shisha bar. There'll be like music, and then I'll read like Think and Grow Rich or You Were Born Rich, and books by Neville Goddard. Now I just reflect, right? So, but the end outcome was that I just slept through till morning. It was kind of like this voice and this voice. They both did a dialogue and decided that what was best for me was to just sleep through the morning. So at this point of this video, like I mentioned in the very beginning, I'm going to be giving you an exercise. And this exercise is to help you to stop your self-sabotage from getting the better of you. Because if your mind rejects the reward that you're going to give yourself, or if your mind rejects, let's say, like I said in the beginning of this video before some of you came in, when you pray to God, some of you have this habit, God, please grant me this graduation. Please grant me this job promotion, and in return, I'm going to be donating X amount to the orphanage over X period of time, or I'm going to be doing this, or I'm going to be changing my lifestyle. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to do whatever. So if your mind rejects the commitment that you make, be it good or even a reward for yourself, right? Because like these are examples that people make when they pray, for example. But for me, I was actually making a commitment to myself that, hey, if you win this court trial, let's go celebrate by watching this band play at the club, and let's have a baller night. And when I saw the band, there was a disconnect. I was like, no, that did not connect with my vibe, and I'm not looking forward to that. So am I going to sabotage the outcome of the court trial just because the reward that I was going to give myself didn't resonate, right? And likewise, how many of you, I mean, very honestly, right? How many of you have not won, not passed, didn't hit a deadline, didn't hit a goal because the reward that you set didn't attract you? Many of us have this issue, and at least within the people that I know, I've seen self-sabotage like this happen. Whether friends are entrepreneurs, whether they are doing project work, whether friends are... So I even have friends who are playing professional poker, and they sabotage themselves in these same ways. And the reason why this self-sabotage happens, I mean, other than the prayer example, even for like rewards that you promise yourself, sometimes the rewards are not motivating to you. So the best part is that if you want to manifest, there should not be a condition to it. There should not be a goal to it, because these things can cause a disconnect, and disconnect is called dissonance, right? Cognitive dissonance. You can go read this up. Cognitive dissonance. So let's not steal our own thunder using self-sabotage, but let's instead succeed just because we want to be our best self. But at the same time, we do often still get these inner voices, and like up to any task that we're about to do. Even today, maybe you have some challenge in store. And by the way, you should be challenging yourself every single day. Do something challenging, because if you challenge yourself in some way every day, then tomorrow you will know that you have that much of a greater capacity. And the day after that, you're going to know that your capacity expanded yet again. And a month from now, you're going to be a totally different person from who you are today, because you've been constantly pushing your limits. And it's not really limits, but more like kind of discovering what your comfort zone really is. Most people, I mean, it's been said that our brain, most people use only less than 10% of our brain. And it's also been said that most people use 3% of our brain or less. And if you could use even 10% of your brain, that's considered good. So we're actually just expanding this comfort zone that we have. And coming to that point, like I said, if you make certain promises, these things, these voices in your head, all right. So you may have an idea. all right, I'm going to celebrate in this way. And it's like, I kind of reject this. And then the voice says, there's always going to be the confident you. And there's going to be the other, the other opposite. All right. It could be the degenerate version of you. Maybe the degenerate version of you, and I once lived like a degenerate. Yes, I admit to that. So after I hit my first million under the age of 30, I kind of like became a degenerate because I didn't know what was the next objective to go for. So over the next 10 years, I kind of like didn't really have new dreams or ambitions, and I stagnated. And after stagnation, I actually went into decline. And here I am, finding myself once again, and coming back up with this Inspire at Random. So I want to basically, set everyone on a constant forward path, because if you're not going ahead, you're falling behind. If you're not improving, you're declining. If you're not living, you're dying. All right. So we have to make that establishment. No. So coming back to this point, like there could be one voice inside of you that's holding you back, and one voice of you that wants to go forward. All right. I want to imagine these two voices inside of your head, and just imagine that they are represented by your two open palms. Put your two open palms in front of you, and then have a dialogue with each of these, the self that you're moving away from, and your forward-looking self, and talk to each self. I know it sounds a little bit delusional, but what this really is that we're just projecting certain aspects of our personality out into our palms, and we have a dialogue with them, and ultimately keep having a dialogue until you find that both of these selves actually want the best for you. For example, I could be talking to my degenerate self like, "Oh, you don't want to party? No, 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 not really. I don't want to baller. I mean, it's not really my thing. I cleaned out. I stopped drinking heavy. I don't really enjoy the presence of all these freeloaders that come around tables just for free booze, and I'm not. I mean, I sleep early these days. I'm not really one to stay up late. And so, I really just wanted you to have a good night, because you've been under so much stress lately. You used to enjoy things like this, right? And I just wanted you to chill out. And this was one of your favorite bands. I thought you might like it. So this is what it means to have you kind of like identify that actually, although one of yourselves may have given you a suggestion that you may somewhat reject, right? You identify that ultimately that self just wanted the best for you. While the other self, as you know, is like, oh, you had a great day. Why not take an early night? And or maybe you just go somewhere like not too far away, not too noisy, just chill out, relax, and we can celebrate in some other way. And ultimately, what happened was that I after I told after I did bedtime prayers with my elder daughter, I just passed out on the floor till like 6 in the morning. So that was the outcome. So it's like it's not, and that's why I say that when we trying to hope for stuff, may this or something better happen. The things that we're manifesting for, all right, like we often think that it has to be this and this only. May this or something better happen. Now, I'm going to talk about affirmations. Affirmations work like a self-fulfilling prophecy. When I was on the way to the juvenile court yesterday, I had my affirmations track. And by the way, yes, I know I promised, I'm going to be putting that up later today inside of my school community. So for those of you who are interested in manifestation, I have a school community link down here. It's in the video description. You can click on it. If you're interested in manifestation, join my community. It's currently still free. I do plan to charge in the future. But right now, if you join now, you won't have to pay in the future as well. So if you're interested in manifestation, once again, click in. There's a prominent green looking button in the video description that you can click on that link and join my Inspire at Random manifestation community. So On the way to the juvenile court yesterday, which was a hearing where I was appealing for a change of the custody terms of my youngest daughter. I'm divorced with my ex-wife, and I was playing the affirmations track that I made for myself again and again. And there are a lot of my affirmations track contains 222 positive statements that I personally came up with that are meant to improve various aspects of life. And when so on the way there, I was hearing it, and on the way coming back from the event, I was hearing it as well. And as when I came back from the event, after the successful result, hearing the affirmation statements, I was like, wow, that came true. That came true. That came true. And the reason why these things come true is because when we constantly flood ourselves with these positive, enriching statements, these affirmation statements, we cannot help but become a better person, to manifest the results that we want, and to embody the better version of ourselves that is best for us, that is best for our self-interest. And it is because with affirmations, once you affirm on such a regular basis, it becomes a part of your character. It becomes you. And if it's even on your conscious thoughts or your subconscious thoughts, actually more importantly, is on your subconscious thoughts, because you hear it so often that it becomes stuck in your mind. And the mind can't really differentiate between what's real and what's not. That's why affirmations are so powerful. You can actually change yourself on the outside by changing yourself on the inside first. You change your inner thoughts, you influence your outer reality. Right? You change your inner thoughts, you influence your outer reality. It all begins from inside. And I said this in previous videos that very often, even when I do like a personality assessment or like an interview, or let's say if I was learning a new program and there was like a self-assessment, and I found myself answering questions with affirmation statements that I have, or let's say, like I get these deja vu moments. I was like, didn't I just answer this according to the affirmation statement that I made? And yes, so affirmation statements are so powerful because you will try to prove this to be correct. So if you are a very positive person, thinking positive outcomes, your life will affirm these positive thoughts. On the other hand, a person who is very negative will eventually go into negative life experiences that enforce these negative thoughts. Does that make sense? So, if that is the case, if we had such a power, and if our life was really, so to speak, the world is such a simulation of our inner reality, because ultimately, what we think are the outcomes that we attract. And if the things that we think attract the outcome that we want, ultimately we have a great power to create the outcomes in our life that we want or don't want. Or it's all the more important that we don't self-sabotage our life by having our reality becoming a mishmash of, let's say, it's almost like you are having one foot on the accelerator and another foot on the brake. How's that going to turn out? You're not going to go anywhere. Or it's like you're swimming against a tide. You're swimming against strong waves. How far is that going to go? Or it's like you're trying to move off in a powerboat, but you forgot to detach the anchor. Or you still have the rope hooked onto the shore. How's that going to turn out? It's very important that you are congruent in your direction, and you you manifest much faster. You will create much faster. You will succeed much faster if your inner alignment is all in that one direction. This is what I wanted to share with you today. And thank you for tuning in. You've been a great participating audience. I appreciate this. And do check out my community. It is in the video description, Inspire at Random. It is on the school.com platform. And I will be uploading later today the affirmation track as promised. I will be putting two versions of the affirmations track. I'll be making one that is a audible affirmation, and another one is an inaudible affirmation. So listen to both of them, and I will be giving you some advices on when to use each scenario. And yeah, I mean, like, yeah, so just check it out, and I'll also be putting a list of what these affirmations actually are so that you can refer to them as well. Goodbye.